This week on the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast.
I'm excited for it.
I am.
There's sharks and explosions and breaking glass and floods, and I love it.
Like, also, they should have tried making the getting on the boat more realistic. Let's just say women and children first is a little gray area.
And I love how in the confines of that very large oven that managed to fit him, he manages to swing the axe with enough power to open
Open
up
the other.
the top to go into the top oven. And I appreciate that.
She does almost get nude.
Yes, in
Yeah.
her white cotton undies.
At first, I'm like, why? I'm not complaining, but part of me is like, why are you taking off your clothes? I'm more of a Michael Rappaport. Let's go up the shaft. Even if it'll bring the whole thing down, I'm not going in the water with the shark.
Nice, nice.
Preacher is grabbed by the last shark, suffering injuries to his leg, but he is released when he stabs a shark in the eye with the crucifix. Again, great scene.
Jesus
don't
saves.
know. Yeah, Jesus. Because I'd be like, fuck that bitch. Even if that meant drowning her, so I could get on the boat and not get eaten by that shark. Well, good luck proving that in court is all I'd have to.
Lights, camera, and action. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared. And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
Okay, welcome back to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. I am so looking forward to this movie.
Me too.
After the last two. Wow.
This is why I'm going to wait a few days, maybe a week before I watch this movie, because I'm like, I don't want it to be tainted so that I watch it. And I'm like, well, anything's better than the last two. So I want to make sure I cleanse the last two from my brain before I watch this movie so I can give it an honest review.
Okay, so let's talk a little about, what do you remember about Deep Blue Sea?
I remember it having one of the greatest scenes ever where Samuel L. Jackson's head gets bitten off by a shark while he's giving a rousing talk to everyone.
That's
That
right.
was
Yeah,
the
I remember
important
that.
part. Yeah. That LL Cool J was in it, and I've always had a huge crush on him because he's sexy as fuck. But there was also a parrot. He also had a parrot in this movie, and I remember that. Also, I thought it was extra sexy that he was a chef in this. I remember there being a lot of explosions and a lot
Rennie
of
Harlan.
oh, fuck no, I would never do that. I would just die. I remember a lot of scenes being like that in this movie.
Well, the director, Rennie Harlan,
Sure.
he's made a ton of action movies. He's an
Mhm.
action dude. Yeah, I remember big budget. Rennie Harlan complained that it was small, but it was pretty big. I remember great actors, sharks,
Mhm.
and really, this was the first big budget shark movie, maybe since Jaws: Revenge. Like, since
Yeah.
Deep Blue Sea, lots of shark movies, and I love it.
Oh,
Like, yeah. But before that, I can't even recall a 90s shark movie other than this one.
actually, no, that was in the 2000s.
Yeah, it wasn't until after this that they started
Yeah.
to pop up, and then now very regularly, like the last 10 years, there's quite a few. I was very excited at the time when it came out. I remember seeing the trailer, and I own the DVD, so I don't have it now. I don't know what happened to it. And I remember the sharks being cool. I remember the actor. I remember gore. Yeah, tense shark moments.
Yeah. I remember
Uh,
there being a lot of, oh, fuck, they're not getting out of this.
yeah,
Like, I remember a lot of that.
and
So
it
I'm
was
like, I'm
like
excited.
it was kind of like our ghost ship, that type of thing. Horror movie. It's a sci-fi, but it's a
Yeah.
creature movie, creature feature movie, and good actors,
Mhm.
known actors. Yeah, so So first, let's go over some box office. Dun, dun, dun. July 28th, 1999. So it was a summer. It had a budget of 60 million in 1999. It
Yeah.
opened at 19, brought in 73, just over
Mm.
73, and internationally 91. So it wasn't as big as they were hoping, but 164. So it made, I'm pretty sure it made its money back in theaters
Yeah.
and then DVD sales and rentals. Yeah. So it
Hmm.
made, it was probably very profitable. All right. Yay.
Woo!
Tail of the tape. All right. So Deep Blue Sea is considered a science fiction. It's rated R and comes in at a toothy 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Hmm.
Here are the taglines. How fast can you swim?
Valid.
Your worst fear is about to surface.
Also valid.
Welcome to the endangered species list.
Actually, that one's a good one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Beneath the glassy surface, there's a world of gliding monsters.
That is not a good tagline for this movie.
No.
No. Great for an aquarium.
Yeah. Bigger, smarter, faster, meaner.
Yes.
Yeah. Synopsis. On an island facility, Dr. Susan McAllister, Saffron Burrows, is harvesting the brain tissue of DNA altered sharks as a possible cure for Alzheimer's disease. When the facility's backers send an executive, Samuel Jackson, to investigate the experiments, a routine procedure goes awry and a shark starts attacking the researchers. Now, with the sharks outnumbering their human captors, McAllister and her team must figure out a way to stop them from escaping to the ocean and breeding.
Mm.
The movie poster, not the DVD one that I've been showing. This is the actual movie poster. It's pretty exactly the same, except Deep Blue Sea's up top and the bigger Faster's on the
Yeah.
bottom. There's no difference.
It's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an effective poster.
Yeah.
There's the big shark. There's the doctor. There's the ocean. I mean, it's effective.
Yeah, it's a great, yeah, if it works. Yeah. All right. So we will go back and forth on these, including the IMDb ones.
Ready for you.
Okay. So first, 115 critic reviews. It has 60% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm.
Now, over 250,000 audience views only give it 39%. So,
Ah.
critic consensus, Deep Blue Sea is no jog, but action fans seeking some toothy action could certainly do and almost certainly have done far worse for B movie thrills. All right, you can start off.
I'm going to start with the fresh
This is our fresh.
from Rotten Tomatoes. Deep Blue Sea is overall a bit of a silly shark film, but it's a really fun one with lots of action sequences. Thank you, Emily Black from Cinema Crazed. Original score 3 out of 5.
This is the finest, unabashedly campy B movie of the 90s. Kate Nibbs, The Ringer. No score.
Deep Blue Sea is about giant sharks eating people, and that's exactly what you get. Ian Nathan, Empire Magazine, score 3 out of 5.
It's the first summer blockbuster of 1999 that delivers more than its promotional trailer promises. Todd Anthony, South Florida Sun Sentinel. You can read all these if you like.
Okay, I'm in it. It's stupid and violent and proud of it. David Nusser, Real Film Reviews. A fat, irresistible Twinkie of a summer thriller. Cody Clark, Mr. Showbiz. Slam, bang, glug, glug, excitement. Joe Layden, MSNBC.
The movie is a skillful thriller directed by Rennie Harlan, who made Die Hard 2 and Cutthroat Island, and here assembles a neat package of terror, sharks, and special effects from Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times, 3 out of 4. So it's
Nice.
basically all saying the same thing, that it's a creature feature, it's a B
Yep.
movie, and for a B movie, it's you get exactly what you want. Sharks
Yeah.
attacking people, that's all I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it to look like good. Not Sharknado. I want it to look good.
Sharknado
All right.
is
Yeah.
special. That's it.
Yeah. All right. You want to start with rotten?
Let's go with rotten.
Here are the rotten scores.
Yes. Although director Rennie Harlin clearly knows his way around an action scene, he fails to make deep seem, well, deep. Leah Rosen, People Magazine.
Deep Blue Sea, a sort of cross between Aliens without the thrills and Poseidon Adventure without the compensations, doesn't deliver the killer shark versus A-list character actor thrills you crave. Keith Phillips, The AV Club.
That's so specific. Deep Blue Sea is a forgettable, waterlogged shark thriller which attempts to be nothing more than that and delivers even less. Joe Lazito, Big Picture, Big Sound, score 1.5 out of 4. Damn, Joe.
Harlan directed Cutthroat Island, but oddly enough, it did not stop studios from giving him big bucks to repeat his mistakes. Andrea Chase, Killer Movie Reviews, 0 out of 5.
Andrea's mad about this.
Yeah, she doesn't like Rennie Harlan at all.
She really doesn't. If science can make sharks super intelligent, why can't it do the same for screenwriters? For a movie about the advancement of knowledge, C is often flabbergastingly dumb. James Sanford, Kalamazoo Gazette.
'Kay,
Sir,
yeah.
sit down.
That's some big words from someone from Kalamazoo. All right. IMDb. Okay, so IMDb, we pick the best. Well, I go through and try to pick the funniest from 10 being good to 1 being bad. Okay, so I will start with 10. Oh, wait, sorry. 138,000 users, 5.9 out of 10.
Not bad.
10 through 6 positive user ratings, 5 to 1 negative. Well, 5 sometimes is kind of like an okay.
Yeah.
So it isn't Shakespeare. So what? 10 out of 10 by Laugh.
One of the best films of the 90s. It's an action-packed creature feature. 9 out of 10. Lucum-52760.
Silly at moments, but the water rampage scenes are very impressive and fun. Great suspense, great fight for survival spirit that makes me forget about the B movie smell. 8 out of 10. I'm Sieg.
Just when you thought it was safe to go into the video store. 7 out of 10. Communist Godzilla.
Communist Godzilla. Not as bad as you probably heard. 6 out of 10. Ricketing.
Yes, sir. Stupid but entertaining. 5 out of 10. Anchor-6.
Deep Blue, Don't See. 4 out of 10. David A-5. Play on the title.
Deep Blue Stupidity. 3 out of 10. Knack 15.
There were so many plays on the Deep Blue Sea
I love
title.
this.
I rooted for the shark. 2 out of 10.
Gillfisher?
Gillfisher-1.
Sure.
I rooted for the shark.
Rennie Harlin Must Die. 1 out of 10. Quicksand.
Yeah, he didn't like this movie at all.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
When you call for the death of the
But
director.
We don't encourage the death of the director. We think he's just fine.
Yeah, so he's just an action guy.
Fantastic.
And he's good at it. He's good at it. I like his movies.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing overly, not a whole lot of thinking, and sometimes that's all you want. So we are going to watch the trailer, and then we're going to make our prediction for Deep Blue Sea.
Tell me, Mr. Franklin, have you ever known anyone with Alzheimer's?
No.
What if you could end all that suffering with a single pill? Give me till Monday morning, 48 hours. I'll give you results that'll skyrocket your stock price.
The most advanced research facility in the world. Wow.
Beneath its glassy surface, a world of gliding monsters.
A team of specialists is working against the clock.
Did someone order the fish?
On an experiment to benefit mankind.
Sharks never show any loss of brain activity as they age.
We're this close to the reactivation of the human brain cell.
But before they can save millions of lives...
Tell me I didn't see that. They recognize that gun.
It's impossible. Sharks do not swim backwards. They can't.
They'll have to find a way to save their own.
What the hell did you do to those sharks?
Did you feel something?
Jim and I use gene therapies to increase their brain mass.
What is that?
As a side effect, the sharks got smarter.
Somebody, please, tell me what that is. Go! Go!
Yay!
I'm excited for it.
I am.
There's sharks and explosions and breaking glass and floods, and I love it.
Yeah. So your prediction then?
I think I'm gonna love it. I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna be excited to watch it again.
I'm
Just
not looking
thinking.
for smart.
No.
I want dumb action,
Mhm.
dumb sharks eating
Mhm.
dumb people.
Yep.
I want it to look decent. I
Yep.
know it's 1999, so I can be forgiven for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be like the effects of today,
No.
where you sit there going, "Who's the real person and who's the effect?"
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Like the
fucking
Meg 2.
Oh my god.
Can't wait to see that stupid
Me
movie.
too. I love the Meg so much, and then I was
Yeah.
like, "Wait, you guys are making a second one?"
Yeah.
Yes!
Well, when I heard that, I'm like, "Well, where's the Meg on streaming?" And it's nowhere on streaming.
It's nowhere. It was for a while there, it was on a few different like, it was
Yeah, it
rotating
was on a
through the
bunch,
streaming
yeah.
services, and now it's just gone, and I'm like, "But guys, I wanna rewatch it, like, 4
Yeah.
times."
But anyways, yeah. No, this looks good. I think I'm gonna like
Yeah.
it.
I think I'm gonna like it too.
Can't be
I'm
worse.
really hopeful.
Weekend at Bernie's 2 and Mannequin 2.
No. At least we hope it can't be.
We are going to go watch Deep Blue Sea and come back and see if we actually like it.
Mhm.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
Me too.
All right.
Fantastic. Let's go watch movies.
Yay.
You heard them. Movie time. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat, and then watch a classic kick-ass movie from whenever the one we're about to watch was made.
And action. Welcome back to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast, and we have both watched the shark-infested film Deep Blue Sea.
Yes, we have.
Your initial thoughts on Deep
I
Blue
loved
Sea?
it. I loved it so much. I forgot how I really watched the trailer, said, "I'm gonna love this. I know I'm gonna love this. I'm looking forward to this." And then I watched it and I was like, I forgot. I forgot how much I love this movie.
Yeah, like first, like you said, you could have shown me Steel Dawn after watching Weekend at Bernie's 2 and Mannequin 2, and I would have been happy.
True story.
That pretty much sums it up. But I had fun watching it. Yeah, it wasn't a perfect movie.
Well, no.
Like I have a few gripes, but nothing extreme. I wasn't bored. I wasn't on my phone. I did enjoy the movie. I had fun.
Yeah, it was a very, very entertaining watch, which let me tell you, after the last few movies we watched, thrilling, but also it was just so much fun and cheesy, but
Yeah.
not cringy.
No, not
And
cringy.
like it was just just the right amount.
Yeah.
So I was very thrilled.
So yeah, that's our initial thoughts. This is where I would say we hope you have watched this movie. And if not, we'll see why you should probably go see it afterwards. So let's go over Deep Blue Sea. All right. So in a remote the plot's a little different, and you'll see what I mean. In a remote underwater facility, Dr. Susan McAllister and Jim Whitlock are conducting research on mako sharks to help in the reactivation of dormant human brain cells like those found in Alzheimer's disease patients. After one of the sharks escapes the facility and attempts to attack a boat full of young adults, financial backers send corporate executive Russell Franklin to investigate the facility. So now let's do this. First, how fucking heavy was that teddy bear? Because it
Well,
just sunk like a stone.
it sank really, really quickly, but at the same time, I was like, "Okay, it makes sense that it's sinking because, if you're wearing clothing and you're in the water and you're not the greatest swimmer, that pulls you down." So I was like, "Okay, makes sense. It's filled with, like, stuffing and whatever," but I was like, that was a little bit overly dramatic, and I
Yeah,
was waiting for a shark to eat it, and it made me
yeah.
sad that none of them did.
Like, also, they should have tried making the getting on the boat more realistic. Let's just say women and children first is a little gray area because he was really trying to help her.
Only for you.
Yeah, yeah. Even after the shark was harpooned, I would still
Yeah.
be trying to use that chick as a stepladder to get on the boat.
Who says chivalry is dead?
I was just about to say, when you're in the middle of the ocean or even a few miles off the coast, chivalry is dead.
Well, I mean, let's be for reals. Like if you're not helping me into the boat, that's cool. Because I don't give a fuck about you. I'm trying to
Ex
get in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You do it yourself, buddy.
yeah,
I'm good.
yeah, when we're in the international waters, all for one.
And one for
That's
all.
it. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, not one for all, just one.
Oh,
Um,
just one.
yeah. Yeah, because 'cause I'd be like, "Fuck that bitch." Even if that meant drowning her so
Oh, I
I could get on
betcha.
the boat and not get eaten by that shark, well, good luck proving that in court is all I'd have to. Oh.
Well, now that we've established we would sacrifice each other to save ourselves.
But other than them being a little too relaxed after the shark was detained and, because Carter just got there in time, mm, even though they admit they don't know have no idea how the shark got out, so how did they know it was gone? It was a great scene.
Well, I think they figured out that it's gone, but they don't know how it got out. But they just assumed because there was like a Michael Rappaport who I have a love-hate relationship with, but my god, is he great in most of the movies that he does. So I'm like, it's hard to be mad at you, sir. They try to say like you didn't lock the gate and he's like, "Nah, man, I locked the gate." And then everybody's
Yeah,
like, "Well, then how did the sharks get out?" And then the conversation ends. And I'm like,
yeah.
"Shouldn't you be investigating this?"
Yeah, I'd be a little worried. Like,
I'd
is
be
that
concerned, but I was like, "Hey man, we have to go inside
yeah.
and take the executive around."
So we're just dropping the sharks have a way of getting out of
Yeah.
here?
We're like, "Wait, the gate was locked? We should figure out how the fuck they opened that gate and then closed it behind them."
Yeah, and yes, it's a dumb movie about big sharks eating people that shouldn't be there or doing what they're doing, but the whole finding the cure for Alzheimer's as a reason helped. Like, I don't care if scientifically realistic or not. Like, I appreciate the effort that they put a reason behind because there's a lot of movies where they don't even put that much effort in
No,
behind
no,
there.
and it was a valid reason, and apparently, the science is not that far off because I think they have actually been doing research with sharks,
And
because they have really good regeneration, powers, so they were, like, trying to work that out. I'm not a scientist by any means, but apparently this is happening for,
and doing a bit of dive on this, they have found out that sharks actually do get cancer and sharks do. So, but I mean, it's not. It didn't hurt the movie. I didn't care about. I just
no.
appreciated the effort, whether it was bogus science or not.
Well, that
Yeah,
was
and
that
like you
was the
said,
thing.
I'm not a scientist. I don't know.
I'm not a scientist. I'm like, "Okay, sounds right." I mean, there were a couple times where I was like, "I'm pretty sure this goes against the law of physics,"
Yeah,
but it looks cool.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure there are a few marine biologists going, ugh, what the fuck?
There are marine biologists, there are physicists, there
Yeah,
are,
people with
neurobiologists
real
who are
smart
sitting there
people.
going,
Yeah, this
"This
movie is
is a load of
stupid.
bullshit." Meanwhile, the girl who works in animation is like, "This is cool."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the moron like, woo, sharks. Yay, it ate somebody.
Those are my favorite scenes.
Yeah, yeah. The only other thing that I didn't like was that Ronnie Cox, if you don't know who Ronnie Cox was, he was in that scene with Samuel L. Jackson. He was the white old dude sitting down.
Yeah.
He was in Beverly Hills Cop, RoboCop, Total Recall, and 100 other movies. He didn't say one word, nothing. Because when I saw him, I'm like, I know that dude. And then he didn't say, like, why the fuck would you hire That's a pretty
He got edited
well
out.
known. I think maybe, yeah, and I think maybe he did some of his stuff just maybe ended up on the
I think it all ended up on the
editing
cutting
floor.
room. Yeah.
Yeah,
It ended up on the cutting room floor because this was about establishing that scene was about establishing Samuel L. Jackson
as the guy,
as
the
the
man.
guy.
Yeah,
You know, he's the corporate guy.
yeah.
He's the one you have to appease. He's the one who's challenging you because he's the one who's going to end up on this research station. So I think they were like, old white guy doesn't have to talk.
Now, before we get back to the plot that I have,
Mm.
it missed a bit here, so I'll just that's made a couple points. Dr. McAllister and Russell Saffron Burrows,
Burrows, yeah.
worst porn name ever. I mean, that's not even her real name until I looked it up, and that was actually her real name. I'm like, who uses the name Saffron? And then I looked up, oh, her parents did actually call her Saffron.
Isn't she British?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yeah,
Why
British
is
people
that
do that all the time. Yeah, Saffron is a huge British name.
There you go.
Especially for people around that age, which is weird. Saffron, India,
What was popular at the time?
you'll find a lot of people, especially working in the entertainment industry,
Like
uh,
Dakota?
not the adult ones. Kind of like Dakota, but
Yeah.
that's not a British thing. That's an American
No,
thing. God
that's yeah.
bless.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll see Saffron, India a lot. Oh God, what was the other name that I was like, your mama named you that? Mind you, I have the most boring name in the world. So I was like, oh,
Yeah,
but yeah,
but you and like half a billion other
this is very true.
Annas out there.
There are a few different there are two
Yeah, the spellings are different,
two
but
spellings of my name, but my God, are we aplenty?
but they arrive and they caught a tiger shark.
Hmm.
Did everyone remember the trivia about the license plate in the mouth? It was the same plate as the tiger shark in Jaws.
Was it?
Yeah.
No.
And I'm guessing that was the shark he swam beside.
Yes.
And I would love to know how much of that was actual shark and actual not shark, because it looked like he got really close to that shark. Because he did swim, again, it was part of our trivia. He did actually swim with a real shark.
Yeah.
At the end, he had to shoot all his other scenes, and then they shot him swimming with a real shark.
Yes.
So I'm guessing it was that shark. Maybe it wasn't a tiger shark that was swimming. They just
maybe they CGI'd
the tiger
tigeriness.
stripes.
Yeah.
The shark is going, yeah, because the shark's actually going for him, and then he pushes off of it, and then he grabs it and rides it and pulls the license plates out of his mouth. What else did they do? Thomas Jane swims beside the shark.
Mm-hmm.
Russell gets the tour. Most of the facility staff was leaving for the weekend. I kept wondering when everyone was halfway through the movie, like, you could have ripped apart so many more people if they had a full.
But then they would have had more help.
Yeah, that's true.
There was the possibility for more survivors. So if you only have like 6 people left,
yeah,
it's easy to kill them all off and to leave only like a couple survivors. Because what fun is a dozen survivors? It's no fun at all.
that's true. Yeah. And then they feed the tiger shark to their sharks,
That wasn't a feeding.
which
That was
begs
a
a question.
frenzy.
Yeah. It also begs the question: why did you take the license plate out? Why'd you risk your life? You're just gonna feed it. We meet Tom, Michael Rappaport, Dr. Whitlock, Stellan Skarsgård, Janice, the marine biologist, Higgins, who is Jacqueline McKenzie, Preacher, L. Cool J, and his parrot, and Brenda, Ada Totoro, the what was it, the lookout tower thing there.
Yeah, she's the only one that gets to stay above water all the time.
That's the job I would have wanted.
I mean,
I guess when you're down there, you don't really, it looked pretty, I don't know.
it just looks like a basement.
Yeah. I liked all these actors.
Yeah, no,
They're great.
It's a great cast.
Yeah. Then they have a surprise birthday party for Dr. McAllister.
Yes.
We found out Carter was a smuggler and he was hired basically because he wouldn't rock the boat and ask too many questions. Now
Correct.
we get back to the plot. Okay, so now Susan and Jim proved their research is working by testing a certain protein complex that was removed from the brain tissue of their largest shark, which then bites off Jim's right arm upon awakening in the laboratory. Brenda Kearns, the tower's operator, calls a helicopter and braves heavy rain and strong winds to evacuate Jim. As Jim is being lifted, the cable jams, dropping Jim and his stretcher into the shark pen. The largest shark grabs the stretcher and pulls the helicopter into the tower, killing Brenda and the pilots, as well as causing massive explosions that severely damage the facility.
And I love it.
Yeah, that was a great scene. That was really good. Yeah.
It was such a good scene. And you could like it's fantastic because it's not super crazy. Like there wasn't like a tugging or a pulling or a back and forth with the
No.
shark and it was just like a straight tug and a straight pull, and they really believed, those poor helicopter guys, that they could get out of it.
Yeah. Yep. Actually, I don't remember his name. Do you ever watch George Lopez show?
Yes.
You know his friend,
Yes.
the sidekick buddy. He was on
Played
the
by
helicopter.
Valente Rodriguez.
That's him. Yeah, he was one of the helicopter pilots.
Yeah, yeah.
And this was back, I think, way before George Lopez.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because this
so
film is from 1999.
1999. Yeah.
It's a good year.
Yeah, 23, 24 years ago.
Don't say that out loud.
I don't know. Okay, and then in the laboratory, Susan Franklin, Wrangler, Carter Blake, marine biologist Janice Higgins, and engineer Tom Scoggins witness the shark smash and stretcher against the laboratory's main window, which then shatters, drowning Jim and flooding the facility. If you're the type of person who goes into movies and they're like, that makes no sense, that couldn't happen, that's impossible, that is physically impossible, this is not the movie for you.
Yeah, no.
There are so many of these, that's impossible things. You would lose count after the first 30 minutes.
See, this was one of those scenes where I was like, I'm pretty sure like physicists would lose their absolute fucking minds
Oh,
over
yeah.
it. Because
Yeah.
I was like, the water isn't going to come in slow enough
No.
for you to run to the door.
No.
It would be instant.
It would be, yeah.
But I was like, yo, but it
seconds.
makes
Not even
it,
seconds.
not even seconds.
Like, yeah,
You
you'd
wouldn't
be
even
lucky to
have
get a
enough time
one.
to turn before that room would be filled.
And
So,
Dr. Whitlock and Jim gets hurled through the water that fast after being
yeah,
underwater for how long? With a breathing apparatus not designed to
yeah,
go underwater? Against glass built to withstand thousands of tons of pressure, but all of a
yeah,
sudden
no,
cracks. Yeah,
but
no,
yeah,
it's
no, don't get me wrong. I know that the sharks are strong,
yeah.
and do I think you would have to batter the glass a few more times
Oh, I
with
believe, yeah.
Jim? Sorry, Jim. Before it even cracked a little bit? Yeah, 100%. So none of this makes sense. None of
Yeah.
it. But my God, did it look good?
Oh, it looked, yeah,
Amazing.
it was awesome. Like, yeah, if you start looking at a movie like that, it becomes real stupid real fast.
Oh, 100%.
It's not, yeah. What,
Yeah.
but then he begs the question, why are you watching it? About,
Well, if you're looking for reality, go watch a documentary.
yeah,
If you're looking for, you know, crazy sharks doing crazy things,
yeah, yeah,
watch this movie
yeah. And that's not how I approach this movie, obviously, or any movie. I give the movie makers free reign. As long as
for
they
the
make
most
it
part.
fun and realistic within the confines of their film,
Mm.
yeah, it's when it becomes too much, even with movies logic, that you start to like. But realism and plot holes aside, I love the scene. Yeah, the shark, the helicopter, all of it was great.
So good.
I was a little baffled why a shotgun is behind breakable glass with like the fire extinguisher.
Oh, probably because all of those mofos are not allowed to hold on to weapons. It's like a break in case of emergency. You're not going to walk around with a shotgun and you have to have it secured. It's
True.
probably an insurance thing.
I'll buy that.
Yeah, run with it.
Why I didn't have a trank gun ready to go.
Look, I mean, if you're going to work with a shark, you got to keep a trank gun strapped on you at all times. This is with working with any wild animal.
Yes.
Shark, bear, tiger, trank gun.
Now, okay, the group goes to the facility's wet entry where they plan to take the submersible to escape. Susan confesses to the others that she and Jim, the other doctor, genetically engineered the sharks to increase their brain size as they were not large enough to harvest sufficient amounts of protein complex. This broke protocol and made the sharks smarter and more deadly. In the facility's kitchen, which has been partially flooded, cook Sherman Preacher Dudley, whose parrot is eaten by a shark, manages to kill the big fish by setting off an explosion. That was one tough oven.
There are a few things I want to say about this. One, that bird does not get enough love. He
Oh,
was
see, I thought
awesome.
the bird was annoying. I was kind of glad the shark
I
ate it.
love that bird. Don't get me wrong, he needed to be eaten, but I was like, "Yes, you little asshole of a bird. Thank you." I also think it's super funny that someone whose nickname is Preach and wears a ginormous cross around his neck or a ginormous crucifix is running around with a foul-mouthed parrot
Yeah.
that he
Yeah.
calls Bird. I'm like, "This is beautiful." Second of all, that oven scene is one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was a good yeah, it was a good scene.
I love that one, and I love how in the confines of that very large oven that managed to fit him, he manages to swing the axe with enough power to
To
open
open
up
the other
the top to go
yeah,
into the top oven, and I appreciate that. I
it's
also
like
just
it
love LL Cool J.
it was almost like it was tinfoil. Yeah, does LL Cool
Yeah.
J ever die in a movie?
I don't think so. I think it's actually in his contract, or is
Yeah,
that an urban legend?
yeah,
Like, he's
maybe.
not allowed to die? There is one, I don't know who it is, but there is I think it was a black actor too, who's like, "You don't get to kill me in a movie. I live every time."
Ice Cube,
Maybe?
The Rock.
There was someone who was like, "Nope, you're not using me as, like, the token black guy who dies early." Because there is one line that he says.
Oh, about
Oh,
not
yeah.
making it? Yeah.
He's like, "Brothers never make it out of situations like this, not ever." And that's why I had like, the no dying clause. I'm like, "Is that
Yeah, it
him?"
could be
Because I
him.
feel.
And he's always seems to be off just off the main movie story and kind of on his own little subplot.
Yeah, he has,
Even
like,
in,
a.
like, Halloween H2O. Halloween
Yeah.
H2, oh my god, it
No, he's not.
sucked.
Oh, wait, yeah. That's right,
He didn't
sorry.
die, and he kinda was involved, but he kinda had his own
Yeah.
little thing going
He
on.
had his own kinda separate plot, and he, like, just intertwined with the other guys.
And this was totally Susan or Dr. McAllister's fault. Everything after
Oh,
she admitted to
100%.
yeah, I'd be using her as shark bait. I
Uh-huh.
if I would have survived this long in the movie, most likely I would have been killed off at the 8 or 9-minute mark. So, yeah, I'm not the guy who makes it to the end of the horror situation like this.
See, I feel like I'm a final girl. I feel like my lot in life is to be a final girl. Just to carry the trauma,
Yeah.
maybe develop a drinking problem, live as a recluse in a little cabin somewhere or an apartment that I never leave. Yeah, that's my dream.
Jimmy's a little more realistic. He's not a final girl.
No, I'm final girl
And
material.
and if I did, I sacrificed a few people and or children to get there. Oh my god, a shark, quick, throw the orphan children to the shark so we can get away. No one's gonna miss orphans. They're orphans.
Orphan children?
Yeah.
Oh god. See, and I'd be the one who tries to save them, but they die, unfortunately, but I managed to survive.
Side note, I watched a movie called Feast long, long time ago. And I don't know, it's about people that get trapped in a bar, monsters out. And I don't know if
Mhm.
they had three of them, and they were very well done for B movies. And there was one where this guy was sick of being the coward, sick of the other hero getting like all the attention, and he's like, "I'm gonna." This baby gets um, trapped down below this building, and he's like, "I'm gonna be the hero." And he gets down there and grabs the baby, and he's running away from these monsters, and he gets to the point where he has to jump, but he realizes he will not make this jump holding on to this baby. And what do you know? This movie, and he throws the baby behind him. It's a comical scene. It's not like a realistic Walking Dead, but he throws the baby and saves himself. Oh,
And that's when Jimmy whispered,
I like that's
"He's my
me.
people.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
These are my people."
Like fuck that baby.
Oh god.
So yeah, if I make it to the end of a horror movie, yeah, the half the reason people are dead was because of this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the
Yeah, yeah.
When the group reaches the wet entry, they discover that the submersible has been damaged. While
Mm.
delivering a monologue emphasizing the need for group unity, Franklin is dragged into the submersible pool by a shark and devoured.
Still
That
my
was
favorite scene of all time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the one scene that no matter who watches this movie, they all remember that scene.
Yes, yeah, and because he looked like he was suffering there for a bit, like when it got him, because it
Yeah,
looked like it was chewing him, and that
yeah,
other shark came along and bit not just his head off, not just from the shoulder, like the shoulders, like it
yeah.
just crunched down and ripped him. Great
It's
scene.
amazing. I love when the sharks share their snacks
Yeah,
because
or
they go
fight for
in.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah. And the movie did kind of a, I don't know, you call it like a foreshadow. Like the Samuel L. Jackson character might actually be the hero when you're watching this movie. Like, I mean, I knew he was going to get eaten because I've seen it before. But if you're
yeah.
watching for the first time, cool actor, great backstory of surviving the Alps and saving people. Sure, eating some, but
Whatever. It's only
insinuated.
2 out of
Or
7, okay?
yeah,
2
2
out of
they
7.
only ate 2 of them, and the great speech about banding together and survive, and then just rudely interrupted by the shark. You could almost say he was the hero up until that point.
Well, he's the one that kept calm, he's the one that organized people, he's the one that
Yeah,
made suggestions for survivability, and you're like, "This seems like a really good omen that you're gonna live."
yeah,
Like, I thought the first one that was gonna die was Janice. I thought she was gonna go because she was the one looking at the water being like, "We could just jump in and swim to the top, it's fine." She was the one starting to lose her mind a little bit, so I was like,
yeah,
you're gonna be a problem." But it's okay, we solved that problem during the course of
yeah.
this
I'm
movie.
I'm more of a Michael Rappaport. Let's go up the shaft, even if it'll bring the whole thing down. I'm not going in the water with the shark.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. The remaining crew opt to climb up the elevator shaft at the risk of destabilizing the pool. See, there you go.
Yeah.
As they climb, explosive tremors cause the ladder to break, and Janice loses her grip and falls into the water. Despite Carter's attempt to save her, a shark drags Janice under and eats her. The rest of the group moves on, encountering Preacher. Carter and Scoggins, they keep going back to last and first names here.
That's Michael
Uh,
Rappaport.
yes. Go to the flooded laboratory to activate a control panel that drains a stairway to the surface, while Susan heads to her room to collect her research material. Carter and Scoggins reach the control panel, but the largest shark storms in, ripping Scoggins apart and wrecking the controls. In her room, Susan encounters another shark and electrocutes it with a power cable, destroying her research in the process. Sad that Michael Rappaport died, but what a great death scene.
It was a great death scene, and I love that it was a 2-for-1 death. I love that the shark had enough presence of mind to take Michael Rappaport and repeatedly
Yeah.
shove him into the panel that could help save their lives and be like, "Nope, you are not getting the others out, and you're a delicious snack."
Yeah. And this was one of the better CGI shark scenes. That hole
Yes.
where it came up behind him.
Yeah.
I'll get into that in my final score because the CGI in this movie wasn't all great.
No, it wasn't.
No, but yeah, wait, I will get into it.
We'll get into it.
Also, for as big as these sharks were, they were very stealthy,
So stealthy.
cat-like.
Cat-like, you say.
And she doesn't retrieve the very time specific floppy disk. They get ruined, they get fried.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
she does almost get nude.
yes, in
Yeah.
her white cotton undies.
At first I'm like, why? I'm not complaining, but part of me is like, why are you taking off your clothes? I appreciate it. There they made the sign to ground herself to not getting
Yes.
electrocuted.
It made sense because I also had
It
that
did.
moment of and I was
I
like,
like,
"Okay, alright, this is weird, but cool."
yeah,
And then you're like, "Oh, you're gonna stand on it, that makes sense because 'cause you're gonna electrocute everybody and there's water everywhere." But I don't know if she realizes it, but her wetsuit is wet.
yeah, yeah.
So
If
it
you want to
still
get
has water
specific,
on it to
yeah.
conduct electricity, but shh, don't tell anybody. Science isn't a thing in this movie.
And if you're listening to this and you have not seen this, and you're like, why didn't she just save it to her cloud? Because it's 1999. There was no cloud.
The movie opens up with a CD player boombox
Oh yeah,
on a
yeah,
boat.
yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
the first this is not a modern day tale.
Yeah, no,
movie.
right away. Right
Right
away.
away. They're like, this is an old ass movie.
No, yeah. Would have been, yeah. Yeah.
Nobody's playing music off of their phone into a Bluetooth speaker. This is
No.
not that time.
This was a CD with probably double D batteries,
Yes.
12 of them for that big of a boombox.
Oh, 100%.
Because we have one of those, one like that here, where it takes like 12 D batteries. Like, holy shit.
I had one that took 8 D
Yeah.
batteries. And it was such a pain in the ass when I had to buy batteries.
Oh, they're so expensive.
It was so expensive. Like now, thankfully, I have like, oh, here, plug it in. It has like a
Yeah.
lithium battery. It'll last for 35 hours.
Yeah.
The
Or
Bluetooth,
rechargeable.
but I do have a CD player because I own a lot of CDs because I'm old, and I plug that sucker in, and you still have to buy batteries for it if you want to like not plug it in. And I'm like, I've moved past that in my life. Thanks. You're just for at home.
Yeah. After regrouping, Carter, Susan, and Preacher go to a decompression chamber and swim to the surface. Preacher is grabbed by the last shark, suffering injuries to his leg, but he is released when he stabs a shark in the eye with the crucifix. Again, great scene.
Jesus saves.
Yeah, Jesus. Carter realizes that the sharks have been using them to flood the facility so they can ram their way through the fences at the surface. To keep the shark from escaping to the open sea, Susan deliberately cuts her hand and dives into the water. Although she managed to distract the shark with her blood, she isn't able to get out of the water and is devoured, despite Carter's best efforts to save her. I kind of forgot that bit. Like, I remember Samuel Jackson and Skarsgård and Rappaport, but I forgot Saffron did it.
Honestly, I forgot too for a hot time. I was like, oh, she dies.
Yeah,
Oh.
I did not remember that.
Yeah.
And again, another great death scene.
I just assumed all 3 were going to survive. And I was
Yeah,
like,
I thought
oh,
that too.
No, Dr. Susan.
Nope.
Kind of your fault anyway, so it's poetic that you die, but
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. While Carter is holding the shark's dorsal fin, Preacher shoots the shark with the harpoon but pierces Carter's thigh. As the shark breaks through the fence, Carter orders Preacher to connect the trailing wire to the battery, sending an electric current to explosive charge in the harpoon, killing the shark. Carter managed to free himself just in time. He and Preacher see a boat approaching the sinking facility. Carter didn't manage to free himself. He looked like he was ripped right out of his leg from that going under that.
I think it was ripped out. He caught it and then shoved it in the shark.
Wasn't LL Cool J like passed out when they had this plan about doing the electrical thing?
Yes, he was initially passed out, right? And then
God spoke to him and said, "Thou shalt do
this." They
this."
made the plan. Dr. Susan dies, R.I.P. And then out of nowhere
comes back as
Preacher,
an angel and tells Preacher,
army crawls.
Do this.
And he's like, I'm supposed to harpoon something. Yeah.
Shoots Buddy right through the leg.
Nobody needs to know where Jesus saves. Okay. Jesus told him exactly what was supposed to happen.
And that's our movie.
Yay. Yes. Because the Monday morning crew comes back.
Yeah, they're all waving and
they're all like, hey guys.
Yeah.
Hey. They don't seem don't seem concerned at all.
No.
That their entire facility where they're supposed to be working for the week.
They're just thinking like, sweet long weekend.
Yeah. They're like, what forms do I need to fill out in HR?
Yeah. All right. Anna's score.
My score is a solid 8.5.
Wow.
Oh yeah. No, I went for it. Because I was like, the movie is awesome. It is. And it's on its way to being amazing. And it's on its way to being something that I could regularly watch. There are some things that still kind of, like, there are some cheesy moments that I love for the most part. But then there is some stuff where I'm just like, it shows its age sometimes. and not necessarily in a good way. Like, it kind of takes you out of the movie every time you get a close up of the shark and you're like, that's obviously CGI,
Yeah.
or that's obviously, and it kind of takes you out for a hot second. But overall, this is a movie that now that I know, I'm probably going to watch it again this weekend when I need something fun and light and just to kind of distract me while I'm doing something. And I'm like, this is a great fun movie that's entertaining and has some laughs in it. It's amazing.
All right, 8.5. All right. Wrote mine down. Where did I put it? There we go. Okay. Deep Blue Sea was a big old dumb, and I do mean dumb, creature feature. The CGI is very dated. While some of the CGI comes off as still being smooth and great looking, a lot does not. The actual practical effects of the sharks they made were stellar, even by today's standards. Again, this goes back to the trivia we went over in the live recordings every Wednesdays at 9 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. But they made like, what was it, a bunch of 4-ton shark that swam by themselves. Yeah, they look really good.
Yeah.
The story is cool. The science and reality around it, silly. The dialogue and acting is great. And by dialogue being great, I mean it's an action horror / science fiction big summer movie that didn't sound ridiculous. The actors were fantastic, so they sold it. But it was action-packed enough to be fun. The death scenes were bloody and gory. And although, again, silly, the stalking of the sharks were tense if you were just enjoying the film. Deep Blue Sea was the ending of a great decade of actual animals from nature mutating or being rediscovered, like the Relic, Ghost in the Darkness, Anaconda, Lake Placid, Tremors. I would pair this movie with any of those 90 monster films or add it to a shark movie marathon. I would just watch this one a little early on because something like The Shallows, 47 Meters, The Meg could leave a bitter taste in your mouth when you're watching the Deep Blue Sea after them. Deep Blue Sea is a little dated in some parts, but it's still, again, I know I said it like 3 times already, but still a lot of fun. And I will definitely go back into the deep and watch this again. Not tomorrow, like Anna, but definitely down the road. But full warning, some CGI looks really bad. But the whole movie is good enough and fun enough to look past them. I put it right up there as really very good. 7.
Nice.
Yeah. And the parts that are bad, they're not like 5 minutes long or anything. They're like seconds in length.
It's
Just
moments.
little bit. Yeah.
It's literally moments, and you're cutting to the next scene before the thought fully registers where you're like, well, that looks shitty. And like you're already in
It's
the next
over.
scene by the
Yeah,
by the time the thought is completed. So that's why I rated it so high, because even though there are moments that kind of take you out of it for a second, you get thrown right back in the movie.
Yep.
There is no there's not a scene long enough to make you roll your eyes. Like,
Yeah.
there are some that make you kinda scoff or kinda giggle a little bit because 'cause you're like, "Oh my god, that's so cheesy," or "That's so, like, old," and you can tell. But for the most part, the movie works at a really great pace.
Yeah, it's not dull. It's
It's not dull. The dialogue, not Shakespeare,
no.
but it's not stupid either.
No.
It's
And the actors are all good.
all good. It's a good fun time, and
Yeah.
it's a great, like, popcorn on a Friday night movie.
Yep. Yeah. Why I liked it initially, I loved it then because it was sharks eating people. There was not a big shark movie since Jaws Revenge. Like there were some B movies, and I mean B movies, like no budget type thing. So Deep Blue Sea for a kid that loved Jaws movies was a huge deal when it came out in 99 for me. You?
For me, it was because sharks naturally instill fear in people. And the whole premise of this movie is, what if the shark is smarter than you?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
scary is that? And I love that. And I love the explosions. I love that it was action. I love that it was a group of people trying to figure out how to get it out of this incredibly just dangerous situation that one of the people in their group made even more dangerous by making the sharks super smart. And I love that premise. I love it when it's like the monster is smarter than you.
Yeah.
That's why I liked it then. That's why I still like it now.
Okay, so for me, buy it, rent it, stream it, skip it. If you liked it then, it's worth renting.
Mhm.
Stream it. And if I saw this on sale, I'd probably buy it on sale. Especially after we went through all that trivia about the sharks, I would kind of be
Yeah.
I'd be into watching some behind the scenes stuff, and
I want a commentary on this.
commentary could be
I was
fun.
like, I
Yeah.
would love to hear the commentary.
Like I remember one of the things that didn't make into the trivia that where they were going to take Skarsgård out and he was out to the helicopter. That water, that wave that hit them
Yeah.
was an actual accident. And Samuel L.
Oh.
Jackson said it actually threw them up against it, like it hurt.
Yeah.
And he goes, I remember watching the premiere going, oh my God, they kept that in because that wasn't supposed to happen. And the director was like, or the director just didn't tell them and did it.
Also possible because directors have been known to do that because they like inflicting trauma because they're like, we'll get a real reaction. Yeah, no, definitely rent. Definitely worth renting.
Yeah.
Buying if it's steeply on sale.
Yeah.
I would not buy for $15 or $16.
No.
I probably wouldn't even buy for 10. However, if you get me in like a $6, $7 sweet spot, yeah, I'd probably buy it.
Yeah. A few more years and you haven't seen it. And
Yeah.
Yeah. If you've never seen it, I would say if you like shark movies today, you might get a kick out of Deep Blue Sea. The actors are still recognizable. It's still fun. I would at least stream it.
If
you've
you
never seen it.
watched The Meg and liked The Meg,
Yeah.
Deep Blue Sea is up your alley, and
Yeah.
I'd say rent it. But if you watch The Meg and said, this is stupid, don't watch this movie.
Yeah, no, this isn't the movie
No,
for you.
don't do it.
Could it be rebooted or reimagined today? They're doing so many shark movies, which is great. Please don't stop. But you'd really only be updating the CGI. Like you couldn't get a better cast. I mean, you
I don't
could.
think this
It
needs to be
costs a
updated.
fortune. No,
I don't think
it
this
doesn't. Because
you
that's
could
all
do,
you'd be
like,
doing.
A gently connected sequel.
Well, there are 2 sequels.
There are 2 sequels, and I've seen both of them.
Oh, I haven't seen them yet.
Oh my God.
I don't know if I want to because
They're so terrible. It's
they
amazing.
say 3 is better than 2, but they're both
3 is better, but slightly more ridiculous than 2.
Yeah.
2 is also super ridiculous. Like they went really camp, but like 3 went less camp, but still more ridiculous. It's amazing because I didn't realize there was a third one. And I happened to see the third one on a streaming service like last year. And I was like, what? There is a number 3. So I watched it because I had to. And I was like, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen. It was so terrible. But anyways, I think they could do like someone picking up on this research and doing something a little different. And they could kind of, finagle it that way. But you can't recapture this magic.
No, that's what I mean. Oh, the only thing you'd be doing is updating the CGI. That's it. And for the those little parts that are, the movie's fine.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so for the podcast, we hope you enjoyed our review of Deep Blue Sea. We hope you enjoyed Deep Blue Sea if you already watched it recently, or we hope you enjoyed if you are now going to go watch it, which we are endorsing.
Yes, we are.
And you can please check us out on Facebook or Twitter or TikTok or Instagram. Or
all the socials.
If you'd like to watch us, we are live every Wednesday, 9 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook, or you can watch the podcast on YouTube when it comes out on Sundays with the regular podcast.
Congratulations. You just had one of your childhood movie memories vindicated. Or they just eviscerated it. I don't know. This is a generic one-size-fits-all type of ending to the podcast. So thank you for listening, and please join Anna and Jimmy next time for another episode of the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. If you dare to go back and watch that movie you remember liking,